Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you're doing fantastic out there. In this video today, we have an offering from VATRER. This is model VT50. This is a 12 volt, 50 amp lithium iron phosphate battery. Let's go ahead and open this up and see what's included with this battery. So the first thing that you see is it comes packaged very well. We're going to just pull the battery out of the package just like so, and looking in the box you can see the nice foam padding, and then of course inside you have this little bag. So in this bag, the first thing that we see is this little bag which has the terminal covers which prevents the battery from short circuiting, and we have two M6 screws. Now I like these screws because on these ones not only are they stainless steel, but they have the Phillips, so you can use a drill to put these on and off of the battery. So I like that they include those Phillips type screws with this battery. The next thing that we see here is the VATRER warranty card for the battery. There's a QR code right there if you want to pause your screen and scan that. And then on the back it does talk about the warranty policy. They do have a 5-year warranty on these batteries, which is fantastic. Now at the time of me filming this video, the current retail price of this battery is $159. So the next thing that we see is the user manual. So very nice. Looks pretty straightforward. There's some contact information down below if you want to reach out and get in touch with VATRER Power. There's a table of contents, if you will. So what to expect in this user manual. Right there you can see the product introduction, which gives you a lot of the specifications of the battery, which is really nice. And then it talks about the advantage. Then it goes into more advantage stuff, warranty policy information, charging tips, which is cool. And then of course it's got different charging method information, gives you some of the time that it'll take to charge this battery, how to use an inverter. It gives you some parameters of the battery, discharge parameters, charging parameters, state of charge. And then this little chart is pretty handy when it comes to lithium iron phosphate batteries. It gives you the approximate percentage of capacity of the battery based on the voltage of the battery. So that's pretty cool. The next page that you see talks about long-term storage of these batteries, and then they start getting into connection tips and things like that. And then of course, as you can see in this very nice diagram, they're showing the batteries wired in a series, and then they're also showing them wired in parallel. So very nice. Now one thing that I want to mention is you want to make sure that whether you're wiring them in a series or in parallel, that you charge each individual battery before you make those connections. So the cool thing about this battery is you can run up to 4 of them in a series and up to 4 of them in parallel. So right here, 2 necessary steps before connecting. Right there it says what I just mentioned, fully charge batteries separately and then connect them. Talks a little bit about the BMS, the battery management system, how to activate the battery when the BMS is cut off for protection, and that's pretty simple. Set the battery aside for 30 minutes, then the battery will automatically recover itself to normal voltage and can be used after being fully charged. Very cool. If the battery is unable to recover itself and its voltage is too low to hold a charge, you can activate it below by 2 different ways. You're basically going to put it parallel with another battery, or you can plug it into a charger. So very, very cool. And then it does give some precautions. Right here there's some discharge curves and more cautions here. discharge curve right there of the battery. There's another one. Charging time. Pretty cool. Right here we're showing a charging capacity chart. And then down here you have the number of cycle chart, which is pretty cool. And that's all based on depth of discharge and different temperature self-discharge curve diagram. I like all these diagrams that they're including in this user manual. And then of course right here it gives you a list of applications which you can use a battery like this for. So in our situation it would be an off-grid type situation. So it's very nice that they include all of that information. And then again on the back there is a QR code to their Facebook page as well as some social media and internet information right there. I love that they put the battery in these plastic bags. It helps keep the dust and stuff off of the battery, protects the battery, and in the event that there's any water involved and maybe the shipment gets rained on or something like that, it does protect the battery. So very good that they did that with the battery. As you can see, when you look at the terminals, it does have protectors on the terminals to keep it from short circuiting, which is really nice. And the battery itself is not heavy. This thing only weighs like 12 pounds. Very nice looking battery. That's what it looks like there. And then of course the top of the battery looks like this. You can see the terminals there, nice terminals with epoxy. There's the bottom of the battery. So at this point what I usually like to do when I get a new battery is I always like to check the voltage of the battery out of the package. So how it comes shipped, I like to find out what that voltage looks like. We are going to plug in our multimeter, 13.32 volts from the factory. That's not too bad. Okay, this is definitely one of the reasons why I like these screws. Like I mentioned earlier, it works really good with the drill. You can just screw those M6s down very easily with the Phillips bit. I like that. So at this point I'm going to go ahead and plug in my lithium iron phosphate battery charger. So you can see I have a red light and a green light. I'm going to go ahead and connect this charger and we'll let this bad boy charge. So we'll just set that there and I'll let it go until that light turns green. And as you can see now we have a green indicator on the charger, so charging is complete. Let's go ahead and take our fluke meter and let's see what kind of voltage we have in this battery now after charging. 14 volts on the button. So it looks like this battery is going to do good. It's got a full charge in it. So now that the battery is fully charged, we're going to go ahead and hook up a power inverter. So today I will be using the Alpha 1500 watt pure sine wave inverter. I'm going to start with the negative wire here. And I just love having a drill. It makes quick work of those connections. Now when you connect the positive, sometimes when you touch the positive to the battery, you'll get a single spark. If that happens, don't panic. It's because the battery will be loading the capacitors in the inverter. So no spark. So that's good. If you see multiple sparks, you probably have something wrong. Now in the event that this battery gets short-circuited, don't forget that the BMS has short-circuit protection. So now that we have the 1500 watt pure sine wave inverter completely installed, we can go ahead and turn on the power inverter. This will display the voltage of the battery. It'll display the voltage of what these are charged at, and then down here it will give us what our draw is. So the first device that I want to test this battery with is this little 300 watt heater. So we'll go ahead and plug this in to the power inverter and we'll turn it on. You can see that the light illuminates and we are drawing 1.4 amps, 1.5 amps, 1.6 amps, so not too bad, 1.8 amps, it's slowly climbing. 1.9. So it's doing really well running this little heater. So as we have the heater going, I'm going to go ahead and add a 2-burner hot plate, and we'll go ahead and plug this in, and we'll turn the main burner all the way on to high. I'll get a pot with some water and we'll do a boil test, and I'll let this run. Right now you can see that we're at 8.2 amps of draw. We'll go ahead and introduce a pot, put a little water in there, and we'll let that water come up to a boil. Now behind the camera I can see the amperage. We are drawing 8.2 amps. There's a glimpse of that, and as you can see, the heater is still working, and we're running this hot plate using one of the burners to boil this water. So it shouldn't take long and we'll be at a rolling boil. So as we're waiting for the water to come to a boil, I thought I would talk a little bit about this battery and some of the specifications of it. We wouldn't want to damage the cells that are made up inside of this battery, because they are grade A high premium cells. In fact, there's 56 cells inside of this battery. Those cells being high quality cells, they have a higher density. The result of this higher density in the cell is that we get excellent performance out of them. We get fast charging, we get fast discharging, we get charging efficiently up to 100%. So it's just absolutely fantastic. One more thing to mention is that these types of cells do not have a memory effect. Now the 50 amp BMS on this battery has lots of protection systems. It's got overcharge protection, it has over discharge protection, over current protection, over voltage protection, over load protection, short circuit protection, and it also includes high temperature cutoff protection. What that does is that prevents the battery from charging when the temperature gets above 167 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 75 degrees centigrade. Now as we look here, you can see that the water has came to a boil, the heater is still running, and this battery is performing very, very well. Now a battery like this can get up to 5,000 cycles out of the lifespan of the battery or more. That's approximately a 10-year lifespan, and 5,000 cycles, that's at 100% depth of discharge. These lithium iron phosphate batteries are far superior, in my opinion, to lead acid batteries because they don't off-gas. They're a lot lighter. If you puncture the side of one of these, the potential of fire is far, far, far less than the potential for fire of a lead acid battery if you puncture the side of it. So they are nice. You can expand these batteries into 4 batteries in parallel, or you could do 4 batteries in a series, and you can do a total of 16 batteries if you use parallel and series combined. It's absolutely fantastic. Now they do say not to put more than 10 of these batteries in parallel at one time. However, I wouldn't go more than 4 personally. Now the situations that you could find yourself using a battery like this would be off-grid situations. Maybe you want to set up a portable ham radio station. You got a small solar panel, you want a lightweight kit that doesn't weigh a lot or packs down very small. You could use a battery like this, and they do perform very well, as you can see. So a lot of my batteries, when I test them, I use a pressure cooker. You could also run a pressure cooker like an Instant Pot on a battery like this, and it'll work no problem. It would not surprise me to see a battery like this in an RV, maybe in a sailboat. Obviously in the off-grid community you could see a tiny house, things like the micro house that I built that's very small and compact. A small compact battery like this would do very well for running my lights and my television and stuff like that with this battery. Other applications, like I mentioned earlier, sailboats. You could also find them in the marine environment, in boats, running trolling motors, running fish finders, things like that. You can run these in scooters, and if your kid has a Power Wheels, you could use a battery like this very efficiently to power that little Power Wheels. A battery like this is also good to take camping for charging cell phones and gadgets and stuff like that. They do have an excellent warranty on all the batteries. I mentioned earlier that this battery is made up of 56 cells, but I didn't mention how small this battery is and what the dimensions are, what it weighs. If you lift this battery up, it doesn't weigh that much. This battery is only 12 pounds. It is 6.57 inches deep. It is 7.79 inches wide, and it's 6.69 inches tall. Again, that is with 56 cells included inside, and those are 20 ohms of resistance cells. This battery does pack an IPX5 water resistant rating. That's nice because if you're out in dusty environments, if you're out in wet environments like a light rain, it's generally not going to hurt this battery. Now, it would be a good idea to install those terminal screw caps on here to prevent short circuit of the battery. Again, if that happens though, this battery is protected through the BMS for short circuit. Well folks, as you can see, this battery performs very well. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the stove. I'm going to turn off the heater. I hope that you enjoyed this video. My final thoughts are very simple. This battery packs a punch for its size. It has a lot of power, a lot of potential. It works very well. Look at the voltage climbing up now. We're already up to 13 volts again, so we didn't take a lot out of the battery to bring this water up to a boil. I want to say thank you to VATRER for sending this battery out for review. If you're interested in it, I'll put a link in the description box down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now, everybody.